The term agroecology is increasingly used, and we've adopted it as an umbrella term for a range of alternative approaches to agriculture, ranging from nature-friendly farming, through pasture for life, through organic, through biodynamic, permaculture, and also radical agroecology, which is the agroecology around food sovereignty and the pursuit, the change of the food system through food sovereignty. So all of these people, all of the practitioners under this agroecological umbrella have got a view about farming, have got a view about land management. And that's a view that's based on the farming system, a whole farming system that's characterized by place, by their particular location, their particular culture, their particular farming system in relation to rotations and management practices, and how they view land, how they view their sympathy with land. So that formed a kind of bedrock of agreement. The overriding thing, though, in terms of judgment or how they were making decisions about technology, came around the idea of the farmer belonging to the farm and to the land. And they wanted technology that supported them in that role as independent farmers, managing their land and managing their farm in a way in harmony with what they perceived as nature or their land ethos. Farmers don't want any technology that undermines individual farmer autonomy, that undermines their relationship, their direct relationship to the land and to their animals and to their consumers. They don't want any technology that is lacking in transparency or is unfair and is undemocratic. They mistrust technology that is driven for technology's sake or part of the knowledge-based economy. They distrust corporate control. They distrust government control, actually, as it happens, because they mistrust the independence of government in the face of corporate interests. So any technology that comes from that background, that can be seen as separate from their worldview, their values and their interests, they mistrust. So one clear conclusion from the project is that there are trade-offs. So there are trade-offs between an individual farmer's values and views and the reality of having to make a living. And an example of the trade-offs is where a digital platform is used by small-scale growers to reach out to their customers, to facilitate box schemes, to facilitate freshness of delivery and so on. That's very clear. The food hubs run on digital platforms. Excellent in terms of developing a new food system. But those platforms are all have an environmental impact. They're run on systems that have environmental, energy, water impacts. And also with corporate control, because the platforms essentially at the moment are largely corporate controlled. The farmers recognize that and realize, there has to be a trade-off. Some people have to make a decision. With the new technologies coming up, there's going to be more of those grey areas and more of those trade-offs. The circumstances of case-by-case basis are not clear. You can't, there will be technologies that in some circumstances are okay because of the trade-offs, in other circumstances they're not. Our major conclusion is that the agroecological sector have got to come together to recognize the trade-offs, to decide on a criteria by which technology can be judged, to enable farmers and citizens engaged in agroecology to have transparency, to have a say and a judgment about the criteria by which those trade-offs are made. It's very, very difficult because there are conflicts or challenges between an individual farm functioning well and the agroecological or organic movement and sector functioning well. There are differences between different strands under the agroecological umbrella. There's differences between different size farms and access to capital. All of those differences play a major part in making a judgment about what is agroecologically appropriate technology. Coming together will be a challenge. Coming together in a transparent way and in a way which is informed will be a challenge. But if the claims and the aspirations of the agroecological movement to bring about a food system that is fit for purpose on this planet of finite and diminishing resources, that challenge can't be ducked. It's got to be dealt with.